My WhatsApp family asked for this donut tutorial when I posted about days ago as I made it and it didn't rise because my yeast died. So this gingered me to record this one. So let's just jump right into the video. So first of all, I'm mixing my sugar and salt and evaporated milk and melted butter with warm water, just kind of combining everything with my wet ingredients. So I tried to make this as sugar free as possible because I didn't use much sugar. So you just go in with what you want according to how you want it as well. So as you combine everything, you try to mix as much as possible with a spoon, and then after mixing, set it aside. Then bring your bowl, the bowl you want to mix in. Of course, I don't have a mixer. I am not a heavy baker and I don't plan to get one soon. This is just a once in a while thing to satisfy cravings, you know. So we have to sift our flour in case there's any kind of dirt or remains or something you do not want to be in your donut. You sift it as much and then throw away the whatever remains you get. And there is a working evidence as to why you have to sift the flour. And then for the yeast, it was written on the sachet that the yeast should be mixed into your dry ingredients. It should not be diluted into water, which is why I did it this way. You can zoom in and read. So after combining the yeast with the flour, I quickly grated my nutmeg into it, just a little bit to give it the flavor needed. Once that is done, combine once again. Mix as much as you can to make sure that everything is distributed into the flour evenly. Once that is done, bring your liquids, stir and then pour into your flour bit by bit. Try to make it bit by bit because you cannot be too sure. You do not want a wet dough, like a dough that is too wet, and you don't want a dough that is too dry. So depending on what it needs, you can use water to balance up. For me, I had to use water because my liquid mix was not enough. So I kept using water until everything is combined. And where your dough is too wet, use flour to balance it up, which is why you can't be too sure about measurements. You just kind of do what you can and hope that it comes out good, right? Keep kneading, adding flour until everything is combined neatly. Keyword neatly. So after a while of doing that, sprinkle your countertop with flour and then transfer your dough to the countertop to continue kneading. This requires a lot of kneading, especially if you don't have a mixer. So yeah, you're going to do a lot of kneading. So I was just trying to scrape out the flour from my hands so that I can knead neater. Kneading is hard work. Kneading, personally, I like my donut very fluffy, so I always try my best to knead as much as possible. The more you can knead for donut recipe, the fluffier and nicer your donut comes out. So you will knead for at least 10 minutes. Just knead. When you get tired, rest, then go back to it and keep kneading that dough. Of kneading, carry your bowl, sprinkle some flour in it and then put your dough into the bowl, arrange it nicely, and then cover with a damp cloth. This my damp cloth I rinsed with warm water to keep it warm, and then place it in somewhere warm, please, somewhere warm, to activate your yeast. So be checking it when it rises. I say this because some yeast rise faster than others, so I cannot tell you a specific time. So when it rises, bring it out, flour your countertop once again, and then pour it on your countertop, and then knead again. You will knead again for 5 to 10 minutes. Like I said, the more you knead, the fluffier your donut comes out. So knead once again. When you get tired, rest your arms. Continue kneading. When you have kneaded enough, then you cut your dough. Cut it in small pieces. Okay, just look at the sizes I am cutting, depending on the sizes you want. So you can look at these sizes I am cutting to use and determine what sizes you want. If you want them bigger than this, you cut them bigger than this. Okay, so separate everything and put them on a floored surface. Okay, so that you can work with them one by one without them sticking to your counter when they stay long. So I will show you two different ways. Okay, one is both loaf, which is Ghanaian way, or jam donuts or whatever, the one you can fill in, and then one is ring donuts. Okay, the normal ring donut that you know. So this particular one, this first one, is the both loaf. Okay, you just combine your dough. I try to still knead as much as I can before I roll it. So look at this method. You can copy it. It's pretty easy. Then you keep. Always make sure that what you got from the last is added to the next. Bit by bit, always add it to the next. Now for the ring donut, you are still going to roll the same, but this time make sure that your dough is bigger, and then you will need something like a bottle cover or something that can give you a round cut, something like a cover, just like this. Press it flat and then put it in the middle and cut. Okay, for your ring donut. Then for me, I like to extend it by this flinging. This way I'm flinging it, I try to extend it because I feel like when it rises, it's going to like fill up, and then the hole becomes smaller. So if you don't give it a wide hole, by the time it rises, it will just close up. You get? So I try to fling mine a bit, like slack it. So basically, you just rinse and repeat until all your flours are shaped. Then you keep once again into wherever you kept it to make it rise. And this time around, it shouldn't take long to rise. Then for frying, we would use a deep pot. Fill it with oil. So first of all, you have to heat up the pot. I just washed this pot, so there was a lot of water in it, so I had to heat it up first. Then you pour oil, a generous amount, because you do not want your dough touching the bottom of your pot. It has to float on the oil, so a generous amount of oil. And you wait for it to get hot. Make sure that you've confirmed that your oil is hot. You do not want your dough soaking oil. So once it is hot, put in your donut. By then it would have risen enough. So put it in and then fry. You have to be checking it occasionally. It doesn't take time to fry. Check it occasionally. Once it is golden brown, flip for it to fry on the other side. It doesn't take time, so do not leave it on the fire. And then for the fire, be checking it. Be putting it low, I can't tell you how high the fire should be. It's all about how hot the oil is. So you have to be adjusting it occasionally. As you see that the oil is too hot, reduce the fire. If you see that if it is too low, increase the fire, Just do it. Everybody knows how to fry. I don't have to teach you that. Once it's golden brown, please just remove it from the oil ASAP. Now you have to put it in a basket, a filter, to drain out the excess oil. And then go in with your next batch. This is a rinse and repeat situation, so I don't have to say much on this too. Now after a few minutes, I removed the first batch to make sure that once I add a new batch, the oil that will drip from the new batch does not get stuck in the first batch, which means that the ones under will start soaking oil. So I just remove it before I put in another batch to the filter. Okay. Another batch to your oil. Keep frying until all the dough is out of the pan and everything is fried, and that's basically it. You can see that now my fire is low because now the oil is very hot. This is like the fourth batch, so the oil is already very hot, so the fire is very low. And when it gets to a point where I notice that the donut is not frying well, I will increase the fire. So just adjust and we are done. You can see how beautiful, fresh my donut and buffalo is looking. So fluffy, so fluffy. Now if you make this sugar free, you can always sprinkle sugar on it to eat it if you want more sugar. To me, I prefer this because that's what I did for my kids and they love it. It's because of my husband we made it sugar free. Try this. Thank you.